especially about psalms, hymns and spiritual songs, our prescribed diet according to Colossians 3 and Ephesians 5, amongst other scripture passages. And as we focus on worship music in general, we have the whole gamut of canticles, hymns, psalms, anthems for your listening pleasure. And today on our playlist, it being Epiphany season, this is the third Sunday in Epiphany, Epiphany being January 6th, the revelation of Christ to the Gentiles and the celebration of the baptism of Jesus Christ. Two central elements to Epiphany, where we celebrate the great day of our deliverance in general by Christ, the Son of God being revealed in the flesh, the Son of God, the Son of Man, God in man made manifest. On our playlist, without further ado, on this Sunday, January 26, Epiphany 3, we have Jerusalem on High, my song and city is. All praise to thee, O Lord. O love, how deep, how broad. Hosanna to the living Lord. Guide us, O thou great Jehovah. And Psalm 47. Before we begin play, I shall give a brief history of some of these. We shall start from behind for a change. So I shall start with Psalm 47, a most interesting psalm with a very interesting background. Oh, clap your hands. Psalm 47 is the 47th Psalm of the book of Psalms, beginning in English in the King James Version. Oh, clap your hands. The book of Psalms is the third section of the Hebrew Bible and a book of the Christian Old Testament. In the slightly different numbering system using the Greek Septuagint and Latin Vulgate translations of the Bible. The psalm is Psalm 46. In Latin, it is known as Omnes Gentis Plaudite Manibus. The psalm is a hymn psalm. It is one of the 12 psalms attributed to the sons of Korah, and one of 55 psalms addressed to the chief musician or conductor. You will see at the beginning of many psalms to the chief musicians on strings or with a harp or some such other musical direction. It's one of those that starts to the chief musician or conductor. So it's known in the Vulgate as Omnes Gentis Plaudite Manibus, and the text is by the Korahite, the sons of Korah. Of course, originally written in Hebrew and now translated into virtually every language. The psalm forms a regular part of Jewish, Catholic, Lutheran, Anglican and other Protestant liturgies. So it's an essential element of our Anglican liturgy. It has often been set to music, notably by Heinrich Schütz, the Baroque composer, Ralph Vaughan Williams, the late Romantic English composer, John Rutter, modern English composer, and Oscar Gottlieb Blah. Background. In Jewish tradition, Psalm 47 is one of 12 psalms attributed to the sons of Korah. It is also classified as part of the Elohistic Psalter, Psalms 42 to 83, which includes psalms referring to God as Elohim rather than Yahweh. Psalm 47 is also grouped with other psalms that declare God's kingship, as stated in verse 7. In Christian scholarship, Psalm 47 is one of 7 enthronement psalms, which refers to the crowning of God as king at a festive occasion. It has also been suggested that the theme of Psalm 47 is universal rejoicing for God's universal reign, not local reign over the Hebrews or the Jewish people, or confined to a narrow section of this our small earth, but of the whole earth and of the whole universe, universally acknowledged. According to Christian scholars, verse 6, that's verse 5 in the King James Version, God has gone up with a shout indicates that the psalm was written when King David brought the Ark of the Covenant to Mount Zion. In light of the New Testament especially, it is an allusion to the ascension of Jesus to the heavenly Zion after completing his mission on earth, as we find generously alluded to in the epistle to the Hebrews, which quotes so many psalms about the supremacy of Jesus Christ, and to a lesser extent the epistle to the Romans, amongst quite a handful of epistles. This psalm is an expansion of the thought underlying Psalm 46 verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. It is all the nations of the world who are addressed. All nations, Christ for all nations. Psalm 47 includes allusions to Rosh Hashanah, the day of judgment in Judaism. Verse 6, which cites the shofar that is blown on Rosh Hashanah, further hints at God's ascending his thrones of judgment and mercy, themes that resonate with the day of judgment. Des Irae. The connection is explained in the Midrash. Yehuda bar Naamani began in the name of Shimon ben Lakish. Elohim ascends amidst shouting, Yahweh to the blast of the shofar. Psalm 47 verse 6. When the Holy One ascends to sit on the throne of judgment, it is in order to render strict justice, as it says, Elohim ascends amidst shouting. When the Jews take up their shofars and sound them, immediately Yahweh to the blast of the shofar. What does the Holy One do? Arises from the throne of judgments, sits on the throne of mercy, is filled with mercy towards them, and transforms the attributes of strict justice into the attribute of mercy for their sake. Two sides of the same coin, justice and mercy. When on Rosh Hashanah, Rabbah Sanot on Leviticus 29:3. Verse 6 also alludes to the trumpet or shofar blowing at the conclusion of the holiday of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, when the divine presence which has rested upon the Jewish people throughout the Day of Atonement returns to heaven. This verse can be translated, God ascends with a teruah, teruah being a reference to the sound of the shofar. Now, musical settings. The psalm and selected verses have often been set to music, focusing on the call to clap and sing, and related to the line, God is gone up with a shout. So much picturesque music has been built around these opening verses, especially, which has been related to the ascension of Jesus. Heinrich Schütz set the psalm in German as part with the text from the Becker Psalter, Frolicht mit Freude, evoca all, for choir as is SWV 144. Marc-Antoine Charpentier set in 1683 to 85 one Omnis Gentis Plaudite Manibus, H192 for 3 voices, 2 treble instruments and continuo. Johann Sebastian Bach, that most prolific, prominent Baroque composer, began a cantata for Ascension with 3 verses from the psalm. Gottfried auf mit Hausen, BWV 43, first performed in 1726. Karl Martin Reithaler set the complete psalm in German for choir, Frolicht mit Handeln alle Woche. In 1904, Florent Schmidt composed a setting for soprano, solo, choir, organ and orchestra called Sum 47 in Roman numerals. Orlando Gibbons, 1583 to 1625, set the psalm in English for choir. Ralph Vaughan Williams set the psalm in English in 1922 as O Clap Your Hands, which is still widely performed today, immortal for chorus and orchestra. Lily Wierzchowski, 1899 to 1971, also composed a musical setting for the psalm. John Rutter set verses 1 to 7, O Clap Your Hands, for choir and organ or orchestra in 1973. Oscar Gottlieb Blah composed a setting for soprano, tenor, choir, ad-lib, trumpet, trombone, percussion, steel drums, violin, harp, and double bass in 1998. Rory Cooney set Psalm 47 for Ascension, subtitled God Mounts His Throne, in 2003. Scored for soloist three-part choir, the assembly and brass. It can also be performed in a reduced version with guitar accompaniment. Many hymns are modeled after Psalm 47. Isaac Watts, the prolific, popular, famous hymnist, hymnologist who paraphrased so many psalms, includes Psalm 47 as part of his vast body. They include the English, the universal sovereignty of Christ, with the incipit Rejoice Ye People, Homage Give, published in 1902, and the German Voca aller Land, written by Judge Thurmer in 1964 and revised 1971, when it was selected to appear in the German Catholic hymnal Gotteslob of 1975. Even more hymns pick up topics from Psalm 47, including Praise to the Lord the Almighty, which paraphrases verses 6 to 9. And now, having given a fairly detailed history of Psalm 47, we shall move to Guide Me, O Thou Great Jehovah, or O Thou Great Redeemer. Did you know that Guide Me, O Thou Great Redeemer was originally written in Welsh? Yes, that's right. It was subsequently translated rather later into English. And Welsh happens to be somewhat like our African languages in that so many 2-3 letter words with different pronunciations. Okay, so the Welsh origins of Guide Me, O Thou Great Jehovah, or O Thou Great Redeemer. In Welsh, Aglid Awen Tr Anelk. This hymn is from the pen of Williams of Pantslyn, 1717 to 1791, an itinerant preacher of Methodist persuasion, originally written in Welsh, beginning Aglid Awen Tr Anelk, and first published in Canedu Yir Sid Almar Widow, The Songs of Those Upon the Sea of Glass, Carmarthen, 1762. Not published in 1745, as is sometimes reported, but 1762. The original hymn contained 6 stanzas of 6 lines, headed Gwedi Amneth Ifinid Tir Anekli Yubird, a prayer for strength to go through the world's deserts. Agrig Awan Tir Anek Fi Bere Girl Ewed Nad Uzni Neth Nabrid Felnin God Yin Yadbid Halung Halung Yuda Umer. That is the first verse of 6. 3 other editions of Canedu followed in 1763, 1764, and 1773, with a slight change in the third line from yin to nuf, plus some changes to capitalization and spelling. Alan Luff, a noted scholar of Welsh hymnody, offered this context for the writing of the hymn. The beginning of the evangelical revival in Wales is usually dated 1735. It had 2 virtually independent centres, one around Herd Harris in southeast Wales and the other around Daniel Rowland in southwest Wales. After some years of independent work, the 2 men met and thereafter took counsel together regularly, but there was always friction, rivalry. Neither would allow first place to the other, and Whitefield was called in to try to bring some common understanding. By 1746, there was outright opposition between them. In 1750, there was an open split that became formalized in the next 2 years as the 2 men retreated to their own particular spheres of influence. The revival at large slackened, a pity. By 1759, there had appeared a will to work together again, and this was achieved in May 1762. The seal upon the new Concord appeared as a new revival broke out in many places. I see his original version of Guide Me, O Thou Great Jehovah as a prayer from the blackest period of the division. These were desert days, and there was indeed a feeling of weakness and helplessness from which Williams cries out for guidance and for strength. It is his psalm of lament. A.J. Hodges, a scholar of Williams' hymns, put the 1762 collection in this perspective. The publication of Moor Wood in 1762 put new heart into the movement. As Langhetto, for instance, on the Sunday when the new book was first used, it produced nothing less than a fresh revival. The original Welsh draws heavily on imagery from the Exodus. The third stanza speaks of the fiery pillar and the cloud leading by night and by day, Exodus 13:21, and also of the manna from heaven, Exodus 16. The fourth stanza speaks of water from the rock, Exodus 17. Both incidents recounted in 1 Corinthians 10 about the lessons from history and warning us not to be like the unbelieving, faithless, provocative Jews in the wilderness. The fifth of crossing Jordan, Joshua 3, of the fifth stanza, Love remarked, sadly, the last two lines of the original just won't go into satisfactory English. The thing about language is no proper equivalent, no transference of thought. Context. Victory, victory, make me cry it aloud in the flood. Williams pictures his pilgrim going through the flood waters shouting, "By to go earth!" This means victory, and was like God going nut, glory. One of the words shouted for hours by ecstatic converts. The final stanza speaks of the eternal victory of Christ over death, hell, and Satan, won on the hill of Calvary, explicitly detailed in the discourse in Romans, especially the first 6 to 7 chapters of Romans, and towards the end of the first epistle to the Corinthians. The final, for a literal English translation by Ewan James, you can research the document in the Hymnology Archive. Peter Williams included an abbreviated form of the original heading, simply praying for strength, whereas the Welsh uses the term Aglid, Lord. Williams uses the common English transliteration for Yahweh, Jehovah, a term not universally embraced among Christians. The common substitution of Redeemer occurred as early as 1778 in Aaron Williams' Psalmody in miniature in 3 books, London, but otherwise was unknown until it appeared in Hymns Ancient and Modern with Appendix 1868. In Williams' line 5, the bread of heaven is the transplant from the Welsh stanza 3, which Williams had omitted. Michael A.G. Haken, a scholar of Christian history, made note of the meaning of the next line. It needs noting that Williams' use of the term want in the final line is the older meaning of that word, which has the idea of being in want. Just as we have in the old famous version or translation of Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, therefore shall I want or lack nothing. It is not our modern use of the word which bears the idea of desire. Hence the line, till I want no more, does not mean till I desire no more. Rather, it is the idea of feed me till I am no more in need, till I am satiated, more than satisfied, till the hunger of my soul is satisfied. This is why some modern hymnals rephrase this line thus, feed me now and evermore. Peter Williams' stanzas 2 and 3 have not entered into common use. So we can have more of that later. We also have a history right now of this hymn by Hyde Wyndham Beaton. Birth year 1812, death year 1891. It is the hymn All praise to you, O Lord, who by your mighty power did manifest your glory forth in Cana's marriage hour. You speak, and it is done, obedient to your word. The water reddening into wine proclaims the present Lord. Reading Height Wyndham attained an MA, born in 1812 and educated at Eton and at St. John's College, Cambridge. Obtained BA in 1835, MA in 1839. Taking holy orders in 1836, he became in 1837 vicar of Halselbury, Plucknett, near Crookherne, and in 1838 vicar of Latton, Wiltshire. He was also honorary canon of Bristol and rural dean. His hymns were published in the parish hymn book 1863 and 1875, of which he was co-editor with the Reverend G. Phillimore and Bishop Woodford. To that collection in 1863 he contributed the following hymns. Fierce was the storm of wind for the second Sunday in Epiphany. Glory to thee, O Lord. Also Epiphany. This is usually given as all praise to thee, O Lord, who by thy mighty power, and is found in several hymnals. Quite a vast body of hymns. We also have the Son of Man shall come, another Epiphany hymn. The peculiarity of these hymns is that they are all in short meter. Their use is somewhat limited, with the exception of fierce was the storm of wind and glory to thee, O Lord. So, let us hear the music, and we shall have back to back. Jerusalem on high, my song and city is. All praise to thee, O Lord. O love, how deep, how broad. Enjoy.
There I died. speak and it is done. Obedient to your word, the water reddening into wine proclaims the present Lord. Oh, may this grace be ours, in you always to live, and drink of those refreshing streams which you alone can give. So led from strength to strength, grant us, O Lord, to see the marriage supper of the Lamb, the great Epiphany. It fills the heart with ecstasy, that God and Son of God should take almost as form for mortal's sake. He sends no angel to our race, of higher or of lower place, but for the hope of human faith, itself and to his last was came. First he was baptized and born, his holy fast and hunger sore. First temptation shall be new, for us the tempter of the throne. For us he prayed, for us he taught, for us his daily works he wrought, by words, by signs, and actions taught, still seeking not himself but us. For us who wickedness betrayed, scourged, mocked in purple robe arrayed, he bore the shameful cross and death, for us at length gave up his breath. For us he rose from death again, for us he went on high to reign, for us he sent his Spirit in, to guide, to strengthen, and to shield. To him whose boundless love has won salvation for us through his Son, to God the Father glory be, both now and through eternity.
Again, you're welcome back. You have just listened to Jerusalem on High, My Song and City is All praise to thee, O Lord. O love, how deep, how broad. Next in line, we shall have Hosanna to the living Lord, and guide us, O thou great Jehovah. But first, some information about Jerusalem on High. This is a hymn written by Samuel Crossman and set to music by Charles Tigger. The hymn is based on Hebrews 12 verses 22 to 23. So the author is Samuel Crossman, who wrote the lyrics to Jerusalem on High. Crossman was the minister who lived from 1624 to 1683. The music was written by Charles Tigger, who composed the music for Jerusalem on High to the tune known as Christ Church, the melody, Christ Church. The themes are the future, the heavenly glory, the holy city. Jerusalem on High, my song and city, is my home whene'er I die, the center of my bliss. O happy place, when shall I be, my God, with thee to see thy face? Speaking of which, one of the most recent arrivals in that holy city is our dear, most beloved Mama Mainland Emeritus, Mrs. Bassi Akinde, whose demise we received the sad news yesterday. She has gone up on high to that holy city, but God grants his eternal consolations and mercies to those she has left behind, and hold them in his loving arms. Her dear husband, our Emeritus Pioneer Bishop of Lagos Mainland, and the children and grandchildren. Hebrews 12, the text this is based on, says, "Instead you have come to Mount Zion, to the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem. You have come to myriads of angels in joyful assembly, to the congregation of the firstborn enrolled in heaven. You have come to God the judge of all, to the spirits of the righteous made perfect, to Jesus the mediator of a new covenant, and to the sprinkled blood that speaks a better word than the blood of Abel." That is Hebrews 12, 22 to 24. Upon which our popular hymn, Jerusalem on High, my song and city, is based. We shall also right now, at this juncture, have a history of Hosanna to the living Lord, and then we can listen to the next two. The hymn Hosanna to the living Lord draws directly from the biblical account of Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem, where crowds shouted, "Hosanna!" meaning save now, save Lord, save now, in Hebrew, signifying their praise and recognition of him as the Messiah. The phrase Hosanna to the living Lord is a direct reference to this moment, expressing exuberant praise and adoration towards Jesus as the living King, but in more dimensions than they knew. Not just a political figure, not just a physical presence, but even more, ruling and reigning in the hearts of men, and like salt, becoming an influence on the whole universe until that day when he publicly sits upon his throne and is acknowledged by all, when every knee shall bow and every tongue confess to the glory of the Father that Jesus Christ is Lord and King. Key points about the hymn. The phrase Hosanna is found in the Gospels, specifically in Matthew 21:9 and Mark 11:9, Luke 19 verse 38, and John chapter 12 verse 13, where the crowds are described as shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David," as Jesus rode into Jerusalem on a donkey. So it is reported, one of those accounts of the Passion recorded in all four Gospels, and that detailed account, in like a kaleidoscope, is recorded in different shades in all the Gospels without exception. for other stories. Luke has most parables, for example. John is like a soliloquy where you are in Jesus' head, reason from different viewpoints, but that central element of the cross they all give in their own detail from their own perspective. Modern hymn usage. While the exact wording Hosanna to the living Lord might vary depending on the hymn arrangement, the core meaning of celebrating Jesus' kingship and praising him with joyful acclamation remains consistent. Contemporary variations. Many contemporary worship songs also incorporate the phrase Hosanna, especially hymns in the Advent and the Easter seasons on Palm Sunday and as Lent approaches its climax. So just as we have so many hymns with Hallelujah, we will have several with the refrain Hosanna. The doxology, which is given in Hymns Ancient and Modern and other collections, was added to the hymn as early as Stretton's Church Hymns, 1850. So now, without further ado, please listen to the next two on our playlist. Hosanna to the living Lord, guide us, O thou great Jehovah. Enjoy.
Flow
manuscripts. While the exact author is unknown, it's often attributed to Thomas à Kempis due to stylistic similarities with his writings from the Moderna devotional movement. This original Latin text was translated into English by Benjamin Webb and published in 1852, appearing in the hymn now noted among other works by John Mason Neale. So, key points about the hymn's history. Origin. The original text is believed to be from a 15th century manuscript with the phrase "O amor quam ecstaticos." Though authorship is uncertain, the text is often linked to Thomas à Kempis due to its thematic connection to his writings. Benjamin Webb, an English clergyman, translated the Latin text into English and published it in 1852. The hymn explores the depth, breadth, and height of God's love, drawing inspiration from the concept of kenosis, self-emptying, found in Philippians 2:5-11. Being in the form of God, thought it not equality, he counted equal as God, but emptied himself, and being found in form as a man, humbled himself to death on the cross, even the criminal's death. And therefore God has also highly exalted him and given the name above all names, that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. The passage begins, have this mind among you, in yourselves. So, last on our playlist we have Psalm 47, but before that I'd like to thank all those involved in one way or the other, highly connected to this program. First of all, you, our dear listeners and viewers, for staying loyal and continuing to enjoy moments of inspiration week to week that is shared between me and my fellow anchor, the Reverend Michael Adiajai. I am your host and anchor for this edition, Adekunle Olaito. And those in the background here today, whom I'd like to thank especially, also Babalola Odufoye, nicknamed Are, and our own director of IT SMC, the Reverend David Ogumbi, as well as the vicar of Bishop Adik Lako Howell's Memorial Church, where the studio is located, who doubles as the Archdeacon of Surulere, Venerable Fei Ojelabi, as well as the choirs, all the choirs involved in the recordings of the music for moments of inspiration. The notable amongst them, the choir of BAM here, and the various choir directors, masters of music, organists, and vicars of the churches where those choirs are from. That is most appreciated and not at all taken for granted.
sing praises unto our King. For God is the King of all the earth, singing praises with understanding. God reigneth over the heathen, blessing them upon his holy seat. The princes of the people are joined unto the people of the God of